Hey everybody, it's Jamie, and I'm guessing none of you know this, but I am terrible at seeing in the dark. Seriously, every time the lights go out, I feel like I'm playing a game of Marco Polo until I can get to wherever I'm going. So I thought it was about time that I find some cute ways to light up my life and help me stop running into the corners of my bed. Get ready as I show you 3 different ways to make your own Firefly lights. Let's do it, girl. Okay, so the supplies that you need depends on what type of Firefly light you want to make. Let's start with the easiest one first. I call it the Underwater Firefly. For that, you'll need a clear jar, string any kind of night light, and water beads. I got each pack of beads for $1 at my local craft store, but you could also find these easily online, where you found me. All right, let's give the Firefly a try. Step 1. The first step is to fill up your glass jar to the top with warm water. The next step is to add in your water beads. Now, these beads are going to absorb the water and then get bigger, so don't just pour all of your beads into the water at once. Otherwise, your container might eventually overflow. To show you what I mean, I'll start by tossing in one big handful of beads. After 4 to 6 hours, you'll see each bead expand to the size of a marble. If your jar isn't completely filled by this point, go ahead and add in the necessary amount of smaller beads to ensure that the whole jar gets topped up. Now, the only safety tip I've got to give you here is not to throw any extra beads down your drain, because they're going to expand with the water and then clog your pipes. So the whole point of these beads anyway is to water your plants, so put any extra ones that you've got into a flower vase to water your flowers, or into any really cool looking jar as room decor. So, alright, enough about that, back to crafting. All that's left to do is add in your night light. Set your light on top of your jar facing down, or set your light underneath your jar facing up. Or do both. And there you go, your underwater Firefly light is complete. Use this as a night light indoors or place them outside at a summer party or barbecue. Either way, your underwater Firefly looks Firefly. Or like it's on fire! Or some such pun that makes sense here. Next up is what I like to call the fairy light. You're going to need a clear container, a dotting tool from the end of a paintbrush to a wooden skewer, and glow-in-the-dark paint. Step 1, the first and only step really, is to apply paint dots in or around your clear container. If you're using a deep container, you'll want to squirt your paint onto a crafting workstation. That way you can dip your dotting tool in the paint before applying the paint to the jar. Start at the bottom and work your way up so your dotting tool doesn't accidentally smear the dots you've just made when you place it back into the jar. Now, the more colors that you use, the more fairy-like the result. So once I was done with one color, I gave it about an hour to dry, and then I moved on to another color. Keep going until the entire container is covered in dots. Also, while every online tutorial I found said to place the paint inside the jar, there's really no reason why you can't place it outside the jar either. That way you can use the container for candy or water or literally anything that shouldn't have paint touching it. Step 2. Once you're done allotting the dots, all that's left to do is let your paint dry out in the sun. The longer it's in the sun, obviously, the longer and brighter it will glow in the dark. I think the fairy light is gorgeous as tabletop decor during nighttime get-togethers, but it's especially helpful for me as a pretty nightlight that can also double as a container. I'm very happy with it. And finally, I'll leave you with number 3, the spotted lantern. For that, you'll need an empty tin can, a hammer and nail, crafting wire, paper, and rubber bands. You'll also need some sort of tin can filler, which helps make sure the inside of your can doesn't dent when you hammer in your design. You could use anything from clay to Play-Doh, or you could fill up your can with water and then freeze it. I decided to pack my can with wet sand and then freeze it overnight. All right, let's plan these can lanterns. Step 1. The first step is to place in your filler. Here's what my frozen sand looks like once I've taken it out from the freezer. The next step is to create a design for your lantern. You can hand draw it or be like me and print it out from the computer. To attach your design to your can, bind the top and bottom of your paper with rubber bands. Step 3. Once your design is locked in place, now's the time to punch out your holes. My technique was to slowly tap the nail a couple of times with my hammer until it went through the can. I neatly followed the lines of my flower design from one leaf to the other, making a hole every 1/4 inch or so. Now, you could also skip the design element entirely and punch holes anywhere you like in your can, which of course is a much faster process. Anything that you want to do is going to work here, whether it's a basic shape or a detailed design. You could even switch out the sizes of your nails so that way you have differently sized holes in your can too. It's totally up to you. Once you've punched the final hole into your can, you're technically done. If you wanted that official lantern look, however, then I recommend adding in a handle. Punch an additional set of holes across from one another at the top of the can. Wrap your crafting wire into one hole and extend it over the can to the other hole. Now you've got a way to carry and hang your lantern. Now I love the way these spotted lanterns look as is, but if you wanted to, the final step is to decorate. I think permanent markers and spray paint work best here, but give whatever else you've got in your crafting bin a try. Once you're all done decorating, you're all done with your spotted lanterns. Whether you want to show them off outdoors or enjoy them indoors, you now know 3 different ways to make some beautiful firefly lights. And now, my lovelies, you are enlightened. What type of firefly lights did you make? Tweet me at Jamie Petito, Instagram me at HeyJamie, or just let me know on my fan page on Facebook. If you're looking for even more lighting ideas, click the video on your left to make your own stained glass jar lights. And click the video on your right to make a lantern out of nothing but pizza boxes. Either way, don't forget to click that button right in the center to subscribe to our channel for more DIYs every week. We did it, girl. I'm Jamie, and you're on Gurl.com.